is that a blessing from the Lord? No. That's a trickery from the enemy. A trick from the enemy. You know it's not yours. God said he's going to give you back when you give, but you didn't give anything. You went there to cash a check. And if they gave you too much, what you don't realize is the dominoes effect that has. The person that gave you that money, when they finish the day and their draw is short $20, they may get suspended without pay. They may even lose their job because you took $20 and said, the Lord is blessing me right now. I was going to get $10 worth of gas, and now I can get it, fill up. I can fill it up. Don't be fooled by the enemy. That is not an economical opportunity. Don't be confused. That's stealing. That's a prison opportunity. Oh, y'all, okay, I better move on, huh? Okay, I said I wasn't going to be long. Let's deal with the next three together. Equity and health, affordable housing, and safe environment. Now this really got me. Because sometimes we want things so bad, we'll connect with anybody who say they can give it to us. We'll just connect to them because this thing is just so desirable. Our folks, our ancestors, connected with a socialistic government because these are social needs, right? Aren't there social needs? Anybody know psychology and sociology? Wait, Linda. Oh, she don't know. Are those social needs? Yeah. So, huh? Yeah, isn't that something? And you just connect with people because they're going to give them to you. These three have been worked on since 1925 diligently. Blacks took a look into the social government and for a while were led by members of the Communist Party. Yeah, because the Communist Party told them they knew this stuff and our socialistic government works. And so they leaned toward it. The Communist Party who seemed to sympathize with all their social ills. Because you know, people come to church and tell you about your social ills and you connect to them without even realizing what it is. They can help you and they're defrauding you of your victories. Y'all don't hear me. Okay, that's all right. Later, the organization changed its name, okay, to the League of Struggles for Negro Rights. They dropped the communist people and they've started working on the struggles themselves. I feel that these are the areas that need so much work today. It seems that Mr. Obama, y'all ever heard of that guy? Mr. Obama, every time he attempts to work on them, they term him as the worst president ever. How sad. How sad. It's an issue that has been existing for at least 100 years. And they've been working, trying to get it done, and every time he tries to push a paper to make some changes, he becomes the bad guy. Don't you know when you try to change people's lives, when they become complacent, they become satisfied with it, and you try to change it, you become the villain, you become the bad guy. But if you're coming through this thing with faith, you hold on. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Oh, Randy, I'm about to lose it, brother. I said I was going to talk. I ain't going to let nobody turn me around. I've already come a long way. And all the way, he has never left me. He's never failed me. He's always been there to bring me out. Oh, I got it. Well, Lord, how far did we really come? Oh, he brought me from a mighty long way. Some of us, he brought us from the bean fields, and now some of us got our houses on Capitol Hill. Oh, y'all don't know how far have we come. Hallelujah. Some of us picked cotton for years and years and years. Some of the actions are forgotten, but let me tell you something. I'll never forget what God has done for me. I'll never forget where he brought me from. All right, I'm going to come down. I'm coming down. If I had to vote again, if Obama could run again, if I had to vote whether they want to change the Constitution and amend it so the president can get 12 years, I'll be out there voting. I'll be out there voting. I'll be trying to call people, come on and vote for him. All right, I better move on. Number 9, the right to form places of worship. In the late 18th century, African American churches that were established served under the leadership of the long-established Caucasian Baptist and Methodist church. We didn't have a whole group. You had about 3, Catholic, Baptist, and Methodist, that the slaves had access to. When they served under these established churches, they still held, although it was not preached, they didn't say separate but equal. They just say separate. And I think that's why in our churches today, in our neighborhoods, we have predominantly black churches and they have predominantly white churches, because we still have not learned to merge. We're still arguing about what color Jesus is. Yeah, we're still arguing about what color Jesus is. You think it's going to matter? Why do we engage in that argument? Because a lot of us, and I may want to exclude myself on my dad's side, but on my mother's side, a lot of us got Caucasian blood floating around in us anyway. Yeah, so what's the argument about? So if Jesus was white, we got some white blood, we all right. If Jesus was black and we got black blood, we're all right. But why does that blood have anything to do with it? Because on Calvary, he shed his blood for my sins. That was the most important thing that he could do for me. And I don't care what color it is. If I was sinking in sin and he shed his blood for me, hallelujah, and I rose up in newness of life, I don't care. If I was sinking and drowning, I don't care what color you are. Help, save me. Hallelujah. If I'm about to lose my car and you walk up and give me a mortgage payment, I don't care what color you are. If I'm about to lose my house and you come up and give me a mortgage payment, I don't care what color you are. As a matter of fact, I don't care if you're from Jamaica or not. I just need to know that you are the one. The only reason I need to know whether you're the one is because one day I want to go back and say, thank you. I just want to say, thank you. When I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that he's done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. Thank God for saving me. Yeah. Woo! I was supposed to be talking, y'all. Something happened. In 1794, Richard Allen organized an independent African Methodist Episcopal Church. Now, at the same time, there was this other guy who organized an Episcopal church, and this name was Absalom Jones. I didn't have to write that down because I remember that guy. You know, we got an Absalom Jones school over there. Y'all remember that? Over in Belvedere. Oh, y'all know your history around here, huh? Oh, Brother Frank didn't know that. He was used to go to church right down the corner from me. That brother got some history in him, y'all. Yeah. And so, in 1816, which would have been, 22 years later, the AME Church became the first African-American independent denomination, was connected to nobody. And guess where that started at? Look at Frank. You're going to have to be quiet, Brother Frank. He got all the history. He paid attention. Oh, you said it. Oh, Will said it that time. Okay, we share the wealth, brother. It was started right there in Philadelphia, so we less than 100 miles. Yeah. And guess what church it was? Bethel. AME. They called it the Mother Church. I don't know if y'all remember my friend Jeffrey Leith. Jeffrey pastored that for about 15 years, and now Jeffrey is the bishop. But Jeffrey Leith left here and pastored over there at the Mother Church. And it was an honor for anybody to pastor this church that Richard Allen started. Can you imagine the first independent African-American denomination? You don't know how many we got out here, but that was the first one in the United States. And in that same year, Richard Allen became the first bishop of the AME Church. Today, for a number of reasons, churches are still capitalizing on the right to establish their own houses of worship. Now, I may have written too much on the next one, y'all. How many minutes y'all got? The right to vote. Parents, if you're not voting, if you don't talk about voting in the house, then your children feel that it's not necessary. Voting is a constitutional right. But for many, it was a death sentence. Can I use aim for emphasis? I ain't playing, y'all. My father, my daddy, my biological father, was born June 2nd, 1881. Y'all hear that? That's a long time ago. He died June the 4th, 1959. He was 78 years and 2 days old. Same day that I passed from 11th to 12th grade. At the age of 78, Dad died and had never voted. 1959. Can you imagine that? Had 40 acres, not a mule, some mules, tractors, trucks, buses, uneducated businessman, and never voted. For certain people, at certain times, the poll was not the place to be. And I use Daddy's word. I'm not going up there and fool with them bucklers. I'm not going to bother with them. As long as they don't come on my property, I'm all right. We were outnumbered anyway, so as a result of being outnumbered, most African Americans felt that there was no need to vote anyway because it was not going their way. If we maintain that mentality, it will never go our way. How you know how many of those other people are going to vote the same way you vote? It's a right, not a privilege. It's a right. Take advantage of it. In 1870, the 15th Amendment gave all men, regardless of your race, all men had a right to vote. Ladies, y'all were still property of the man. How y'all feel to be free? Joyce, you need to have a talk with Sister Etta. She says women still, but a property of the men. Not in my house. Lady Arrington, I told Joyce when she got dressed this morning, came out, I said, I have to tell Sister Arrington, but Lady Arrington, that my wife is a queen. I said, she was talking about the queen, so I said, yeah, okay, she's a queen. Queens don't belong to anybody. Queens are independent. I'm glad they changed the amendment. That way I can ask her to help pay the bills. See, the way it was before, you know, I can ask her, she can just say, hey, nobody, it's your job to take care of me. You're supposed to provide for me. The Constitution states it. Well, let's move on, y'all. Then it got messy. If they gave the men the right to vote, then it got messy. You needed to know how to read. Most of our men couldn't read. They can't cast a vote. You needed to be a property owner. Most of us were still living on the property that boss gave us. You know, it's still his, but he just said, oh, you can live there till you die. You know, you've been a good boy. Yeah. You and them gals, that gal and them children, you know. Then you needed to pay poll taxes. Well, you couldn't pay poll taxes if you didn't have any properties. And so our men still couldn't vote. The majority couldn't vote. And so with the fear of dying, or of losing your job, or all the other obstacles, many African Americans choose not to vote. Today, the most of our men who cannot vote is because of their criminal records. They take it away from you. Somebody need to talk. If you've been there already, you need to talk to some of our youth who think it's good. Look at here. Yesterday, I really got upset. I didn't know what this guy was displaying. But if he were my son, I would have stripped him out of his clothes right on the street. He's at the supermarket. Got his pants. Lord, I'm not exaggerating, y'all. His pants were right there, right at the bottom of his cheek. Right there, and had the belt tied tight around there. Had on a T-shirt and his underwear, his black underwear, showing, and he walking like this, trying to, going in the store and stuff. How disgusting. Somebody needs to tell them that doesn't get him a job. Somebody needs to tell him that doesn't get him respect. Somebody needs to tell him that makes him #1 suspect on the street. And if the po-po started at you and you were innocent and you wanted to run, you can't even get away. Your pants gonna cause you to fall. I'm so anybody can tell you in my house, I keep everything clean. And so anytime I'm leaving the house, I'm already showered and I got on clean from top to bottom. But let me use ain't for emphasis. I ain't coming in here and show y'all my drawers. I ain't gonna do it. But listen, don't you know, okay, the poll tax was removed. Everybody can vote now. Men and the women can vote, right? Poll tax removed. Reading is almost eradicated. Most everybody can read enough to go vote. So all that has been moved. So where is the entrapment today? It's up top. It's up top. They mess with your mind. The one thing that I could not understand about the young guys from the detention center, y'all still visiting there. The detention center, they go in the detention center because they're underage, right? And so when they spend a little time in the detention center, they come out, they're not felons, got a little misdemeanor going on, and they let them out, and they put them on probation. And with probation, they get curfews, right? Now they explain to them loud and clear if you break your curfew and you didn't go, I don't know, maybe get 5 years or something like that of curfew time, or 3 years or something like that, and during that period you turn 18, if you break your curfew, you got a great possibility of going to jail and becoming a felon over some thing you did as a child. And they sit around and hang out and say, well, my boy, I was getting a ride and my boy didn't bring me home. And that's why I was late. Or the party got good and I couldn't leave at the height of the party. I met this honey at the party, and the honey was sounding sweet. And I've been home all week for 5 days straight, and the parole officer never stopped by the house. Today, Friday, and everybody's jumping. He ain't coming today because he out with his family tonight. He worked all week. He tired. And when you get home, he's sitting on your doorstep. Oh, no! They trying to get me. They don't like me. They trying to put me in jail. No, you trying to put you in jail. Because what's happening, they don't want you to vote. And if they can mess you up enough to keep you from voting, guess what? They're still on the winning end. You are still a slave. Because all you can do is work, behave yourself, go home and go to bed, because everybody, big brother, is watching you. Oh, y'all don't hear me. Okay. I ain't going to preach today. I may preach next week. Okay? Many of the guys in prison were not even guilty of the accused crime, but could not afford the price of fighting the system. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They see you on the corner with somebody, everybody on the corner with you are ex-criminals, and but their parents got money, and they got jobs, or either they selling drugs and got big bucks, and people gonna get them out. And they just come on, and maybe you don't even have a record. And when they come to the corner, they just wipe everybody up and throw them in the van. Throw them in the van. Everybody gotta go. And they take you there, and you had a little job. You end up losing the job because you're waiting for that preliminary hearing. You don't have money to get a lawyer because they haven't set the bail yet. And when they set the bail, you don't have a job, and grandmama or mama say, I'm not spending my money for that foolishness. I told you not to go out there. I told you to stay home. And there you are, and you end up in the system. And after a while, because everybody else got these big things, they offer you a little thing. And you take it, huh? I was looking at a lady the other day. She said, on TV, she said, well, I took it because I wanted to be home with my children. And my boyfriend, I didn't trust my boyfriend just to take care of him. So whatever they said, I just took it. But I didn't know it was going to be like this. The best way to handle that is, anybody got a suggestion? Don't do it. Don't do it. You have rights. Don't lose your rights because of something silly like that. The more men that cannot vote, the less power we have as a people. Mothers are voting. Daughters are voting. Where's the man vote? Where is the man vote? In this state, remember I said in the beginning of this, there need to be some changes that need to be worked on? We need to find ways and support the ways. Some people are already trying to put together House bills and stuff that could restore the voting rights to some of the guys who are felons. Because some of that stuff was pushed on them, and some of it was, they was charged beyond, okay, what is it? The punishment doesn't fit the crime. There we go. That's the prison guy talking. Punishment does not fit the crime by no means. They over-exaggerated, overcharged, and you had no money to fight the system. Stay away from it. The first thing is your survival as a person, because when you got to go, and so I have to talk to so many parents calling me from, not from Delaware, but all over this country. I got friends, and they be calling, talking about how the sons or the daughters were doing good, had great jobs, and got caught up with somebody else, and had to spend 6 months in prison, and they lost their jobs. And when they lost the job, they lost their cars. And then when they lost their cars, they lost their houses and stuff. We need some men. Brothers, they talked about marching this morning. You need to march. That just doesn't need to be a Black History talk. This needs to be a serious thing. We need to be marching around our men. I'm getting ready to close. We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy word. He never failed us yet. Listen to me. We are the Exoduses. When Reconstruction, you know what Reconstruction was? They were trying to redo stuff after the document of emancipation was issued. When Reconstruction didn't work, there was a great migration. And guess where they went? To the place that ill-treated me in 1964. They went to Kansas. And that, because so many of them went, they call them the Exoduses. Statistics shows that from 1940 to 1970, 30-year period, 5 million African Americans migrated to the north and the west, coming from the south. Would you believe me and 10 of my siblings was in that 30-year period? It was 13 biological children, so only 2 didn't make that migration. We came north, and we stayed for several years, and guess what? For several reasons. Some of it for education, and we stayed and got jobs and stuff, and I met this woman. But I was in that 5 million, so I gladly accept that I am an Exodus. I'm an Exoduster. Exodus, when God brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. I was bound economically, educationally, whatever, all those other things, I was bound by those, and I was also bound spiritually. And in 1977, I was an Exoduser. God brought me out of it. He didn't let me stay in it for 400 years. He brought me out of it. God saved me. I am an Exoduser. We come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord. I ask that you continue to lean on the Lord. Don't leave your faith. Jesse Jackson said, keep hope alive. It's you are the one that has to keep hope alive. Because if you don't keep it yourself, somebody else standing next to you going to help you defeat your hope. They're going to help you. They're going to encourage you to defeat your hope. You need to connect with people who are positive, who are going to give you a good word to move you forward. God bless. Let us stand. I need this. I know my wife wouldn't agree to this, but my son told me to do it, so I'm going to do just a little bit of a song that when I was, the song is 54 years old now, but I was down and out and doing bad, and I was looking for a job in Passaic, New Jersey, and I